Okay, now that we have filleted the edges, we will select this plane that we made before for the purpose of making this stand, and click on it. Just make sure that I've clicked on it and sketch and say normal 2, so sketching on this side, not that. We will draw a circle at the center. Obviously the line was guiding us, so give it a dimension of 100, the center, and now click at this point of the circle, deselect the dimensions and click at this point of the circle and this line. It will ask for relations, so it's basically you would tell it to be coincident. If you here, there you go, the relation is showing up at tangent, so now it's tangent. It's showing up here on the left tab. Second important thing is to click here at the center and click here, I guess, at the base. And we also need these to be completely aligned with each other. So it says that vertical, coincident, horizontal. We'd say it needs to be vertical. They're above each other, they're defined. See, the circle just turned black, means that it's perfectly defined now. And we say yes, this is what we need. The circle is drawn at the middle of the stand. One last thing I think I forgot is we go back to edit the sketch. We are still in sketch mode. So let me just get normal to this and make an offset for this circle. Click on the circle. It'll ask how much, by how much you need to create the offset, say 15. And yes. Yep, there it is. The offset is created. Now we simply go out of the sketch, go to features, and extruded boss base. Obviously, that's the last feature that was created, so it's gonna extrude this. First, we select mid plane, so it extrudes both ways when we give it a number, and give it the value of 60. Yep, starting to look like a fan. This is going to be the back of the what holds the motor and the entire assembly together. This is what we need. Say okay. Okay, one thing I forgot is let's just go back to the sketch of this. Go to edit sketch, the circle that we drew and extruded. And should have done this before, but it's a relatively simple, straightforward step. Just do this, connect it here, and take trim entities and do this and trim this as well. So now we got this curved holder sort of. So okay, and get out of the sketch. This is what we have, and then we just use the fillet command. 10 millimeters. It's already selected, so I'll just fillet a few surfaces. For example, this, the back end, this, as well as the outer edges of this, and say yes, this is what we need. Fillet is complete, and is almost complete, but not quite. Okay, one last thing we will fillet is also this curve. This. And this. If it allows it, that is. Not sure it's happy with filleting this. I think let me just delete these. This, this, this. That's why it's not even showing a preview. Yep, there's something bothering the PC about filleting this surface. I guess maybe it's just a bit too curved. So we'll just leave it at that. The last thing on this is the buttons that will be placed at the base. So we'll need a new plane. Select the base is where the plane is going to be. Select an offset, flip offset basically, and give it a value. Just use the 30 or 25. I think 25 will place it as such that we will be able to, now that it's passing through this region, will draw in it and then simply extrude the buttons, whatever the shape they may be, and they'll appear here and passing through this slanted surface, so it'll look nice. Okay, this is what we need. And now we go ahead and sketch on the plane that we just created. We will also say normal to so we can see where we're working. Always press from the left tree. You can just click on this and say normal to, select the option of normal to. But anyways, right now, let me just sketch. We will select center rectangle and it'll start to show us a few traces. So if you move your cursor to the origin of and do this, it'll trace out a line. Just use your intuition to build a rectangle. No need for any specifics or dimensions, I guess. Just place it here. And one thing is, can we trim these? Yes. What else? We will fillet this, the corners of this rectangle. Okay. It's conflicting the selections. Let me just change the number so it's manageable. So this is the fillet we apply. Say yes, this is what we need. Right, it's a decently sized rectangle for our buttons. And since this is a slanted surface, we'll just extrude cut it. So move out of the sketch, say extruded cut. That's the last thing we worked on. It starts to extrude upwards, so it's not cutting anything below. It's not making a through hole through the base. It's just cutting upwards at whatever distance. It doesn't matter. We just need to make a hole here. That's where the buttons will be. So we say yes, this is what we need, and now you can see sort of a surface. I think I need to move the rectangle a little bit because the lip of the hole is a bit too low. Or maybe move the plane that I created. Move the plane. Let me just edit the plane and put it at 30. Because the buttons will be too deep in the crevice or in the. It's starting to look much better. The back end of the, obviously the button area is much higher than the front end. I might as well Might as well do it 35. Let's see. It, it's sort of a taper in such a way that I think this is better. This is much better. There's no lip or anything here. I mean, it looks like it, but still, you don't have to insert your fingers deep into this crevice to press the buttons. It's just a simple ramp with buttons on it. I think this is a better design. Okay, last thing, we will click here and sketch directly on this surface for the buttons, basically. You can make it ellipse, you can make it circle, whichever you want. I've seen ellipse buttons. I've seen circle buttons. Doesn't really matter. Need to draw a circle somewhat at the center. We'll dimension it. Don't worry. The button will be here. Says smart dimension and start dimensioning the distance of the surfaces from the button. So this will be um, 5, I think. No, 5 is too much. Let me just correct that. I think 8 was the right value. And then using the same smart dimension from the center to this surface, it should also be 8. I think it won't let me dimension this part. But let me see if I can do this, and dimension it 8 as well. Let's just keep it equally spaced on all fronts. Say, okay, this is what we need. Just use your intuition to just sort of move it around, and when it looks like it's centered, it probably is. Not too big of a deal. Move out of the sketch and we would just extrude it. We will extrude the button by just a second. Why is it showing a circle? Okay, it was mid plane. We change that. Open this drop down menu and say blind extrude, and the height of the extrude will most likely be 5 or 3 mm. I think that's a decently sized button. 3 mm is good enough. 3 or 4 I think will be the unselect the merge result. 3 or 4 mm I think is good enough. Might as well just make it slightly taller, just slightly taller, like equal to the height of the surrounding structure or the crevice. 6 I think is good enough. Then we just use a linear pattern command, and we provide the direction. First thing it needs is the direction in which the pattern will occur. So this line is the direction. It says maybe the second direction or the feature, and the spacing between the two. So let me spacing between the two, not giving much spacing between. Let me change that as well. First I need to, yep, that's what it. Too much of a space. I think 15 might be 50 might be the key. 15's looking decent. And we increase the number, so zoom out and increase the number until we see that, yep, they're perfectly fitting in. You can increase it, decrease it, and even if you might see that there's a very oddly shaped space left behind in this area, you can just go ahead and edit the sketch of the circle, decrease its size, and then it might fit. But this is perfect for me, so I'm okay. These buttons, might as well make one of these. Go to appearance, and if you've ever used one of these, you might say that you might say that this is how they look. This one. It's one of these. It's like one button that turns it on and off, and then the rest are like speed controls. But okay, okay. The last, extremely last detail will be we just select fillet and decrease the amount by like 2. I think 2 would be good enough for us, and select the edges of these buttons. There you go. That looks nice. Um, I don't know why it's not selecting more than one face, even though the feature is built for such that you can apply it to multiple faces. But just go ahead and apply, and just apply fillet with this menu. If you click an edge, this edge, it'll show a little menu, and there is a fillet. Just keep doing that. And for this is complete. This base is complete. Now we will go on to make the rest of the parts. Let's do this. Same thing. And I should have filleted before making the pattern, so it always just appears. But quality of life touches. And let me also make this ugly button pretty again. Why that? Just this one. Nice. Good. Looking good. Just need to save this and move on to the next part.